Hello, I'm Dalton DeLand. I'm a columnist for the Berkshire Eagle, and this is Eagle Reels, where we take you beyond the news. Our very special guest today, Mike Harris, lead guitarist with Old Crow Medicine Show. Welcome, Mike.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, you guys are going to rock the Mahaiwe on April 25. What can fans expect?
Oh man, it's a big tent show. I like to think we kind of encompass all things American roots music. Obviously the old time folk and bluegrass is always going to be paramount, but there's country, blues, all kinds, even a note of jazz or two, here and there.
Yeah. Well, now you come from a very musical family on both sides, and I think you picked up a Fender Stratocaster at around age 12, right?
Yeah, you're well studied. Yeah, that's right. I
What were your influences?
Oh man, I mean, a lot of whatever my dad was listening to. And I was really lucky to be listening to a lot of great stuff with him. I was like a lot of kids, I just wanted to do everything he did. And when I saw him for the first time, like branch out and he's like, "Yeah, have you ever heard, Skinner, Zeppelin, whatever?" That was very monumental in my upbringing for sure.
Now you play now sometimes. I think it's a Gibson, this really interesting slide and modified pedal steel, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, good eye. Yeah, I do play a lot of slide guitar. I was very hooked by Dwayne Allman and Derek Trucks as well. And then I started seeing I saw a Nashville fella named Scotty Murray playing this old Bigsby tailpiece on a guitar that has palm pedals that bend the B and G strings the same way that a pedal steel does. And yeah, kind of feign that sound and it's a good trick, man. Yeah.
Now, you have a little bit of what I call felony fingers, which means that things are so fast you could be a pickpocket. Now, is that all from bluegrass, or are you a Jimi Hendrix fan, or you are fast? Tell us about
I,
that.
I didn't, I've never thought about it that way. Uh, Honestly, I feel like I developed a lot of that once I joined this band. I'd kind of been around the circuit playing in a lot of country acts and had played like kind of indie folk before that. And then I got with these guys and it was like, yo, man, I got to keep up. I got to practice. I got to get the metronome out. And yeah, developed that kind of along the way. This has been like the best growing experience of any act I've performed with yet. Just I've been presented so many opportunities to grow, learn new instruments, learn new styles, and it's really I don't know. It's been awesome. I'm super grateful for the opportunity.
Well, you played the big houses. You did some time with Chris Stapleton, right? That you must have been playing some big joints.
I did, man. Yeah, I we made the rounds. It was a lot of fun, and he's still a great pal and great friend. I love that music so much, and we had a great time.
We're coming up. We're around the second anniversary of the Covenant School shootings, and your buddy, lead singer Ketch Secor, played a song that I think you co-wrote, "Louder Than Guns," for me on actually on a podcast a couple years ago during the pandemic. And I thought then, and I think now that where you guys come from, it's pretty brave to be doing a song actually that has some. I don't know if you want to call it gun control in it, but the subject, which is a third rail subject in some places. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh man, when you bring that up, it just brings me back to where we were when we were hearing the news, and it was one of those days, like a lot of days that we live out here, where it's just, it was the last day I was going to be in town for a while, and we're getting that news, and still had to clock in and hop on a bus and go somewhere and keep rolling down the road, and at the same time, it's like your heart is just so pulled out of your body and still at home. And I remember just having a really tough morning the next morning with Catch and a lot of the fellas. But Catch has always been very involved in education around here and had some very close friends that were tied to that event. And I don't know, man. It's like this this thing that I think a lot of people want to convince you that there's not much that can be done and that there's no hope. It's just going to be a fact of life from now on. And I don't mind being the opposition to that. And I don't want to I don't want to take anybody's rights away. I just want to protect the right to live for these innocent little kids. And I think that's a lot of us. And we meet a lot of people out on the road that um this resonates with.
Well, thanks for that heart and soul, Mike.
Yeah, man.
I'm thinking about another song that you bring some real, hot guitar licks to, a Bob Dylan song that our buddy Catch finished, right? Wag,
Oh yeah, the wheel.
big hit. Tell us
Oh
about
yeah.
taking on that song and bringing your touch to it.
Oh, you know what? I can't even give you much of a touch to it. I'm a recent addition to this band. Recent being, 4 or 5 years on, and that tune was cut a while back, and that was actually, like I mentioned earlier, a great opportunity for me to grow. Was learning to play that song because whereas every gig I've ever had in my life, I'm generally playing something with six strings. All of a sudden, I was handed the responsibility of playing something with five strings on that song. Actually, I play banjo on that tune, and the first time I ever played that song was like April of 2021, and it was on the Grand Ole Opry stage. It was just such a surreal moment. And it was also the first time I'd ever played banjo in a live setting ever. So it was like a very like sink or swim moment, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's one of my, I look forward to that tune every night because it's no matter what's happening in the room or even in the world, it's just really special to see people's eyes light up when they hear their favorite tune. And I love our fans for that.
Was it during your time or before it, Mike, that you guys did this amazing full length Blonde on Blonde at the Ryman?
Yeah, that was before my time as well. I was just a mere fan of the band at that point.
Are you a Dylan fan? Now I know you're a Grateful Dead fan, right? You've been spotted with the Sox, right? Tell me a little bit about some of the influences you have.
At any point in time, I could be covered head to toe in Dead gear. I'm a sucker for a good Instagram ad. Oh man, my influences, yeah, they range. And I was lucky to be brought up in a musical household where I was hearing a lot of bluegrass and a lot of country and southern rock, classic rock, and that obviously, pushed me towards all the electric guitar that I've been playing for so long. And the Dead hit me like a ton of bricks back in like 2012, 2013. I was still teaching the odd guitar lesson here and there, and a friend of mine in a great band in Nashville called Heavy Cream, Mimi, hit me up and she asked me to teach her a song from Europe 72 called Tennessee Jet, and it was like that lightning bolt moment, man. And I got it. I was like, oh man, this is the melting pot of all my favorite things that I've been listening to for so long. I hear bluegrass in this music. I hear rock and roll and blues and country, and it's all here. And yeah, that's I like to think that the Dead have really made it apparent to me the magic and medicine that music can be. And it's been really special to me over the years.
I think that the eclecticism of Old Crow Medicine Show and clearly of your own musical taste and abilities is pretty incredible. Do you think at the Mahaiwe or elsewhere on the spring tour? Are there interesting surprises and borrowings that we might hear?
Well, and this question just brings up like one of my favorite aspects of this band is that like we're never gonna write a set list in March and play it through till New Year's Eve at the Ryman. It is gonna be an ever-growing organism, and we have blocks of stuff that kind of seem to stick around, but some of these guys have been in this band for 25 years. I mean, Ketch knows the map, just a map of the United States better than anybody I've ever met. And in that map in his mind, I can see not only, the tributaries, streams, and waterways, the highways, the railways, but also the songs and the songwriters that come from every place we've ever been. So I would say that beyond a shadow of a doubt, we're going to find something regionally tied and make something special, and hopefully we pull it off.
Well, then, how about the Berkshires? Is it an area you know, and does that mean you're gonna kick out a James Taylor song or what?
Oh man, not know, that song's a very special one. That Sweet Baby James. I mean, Berkshires seem dreamlike on account of that frosting. I love that tune, and that's always been a special one for me. My first name's actually James. I don't normally divulge this much personal information, but yeah, that tune, my parents played that one to me a lot. That could be in play. You never know, man.
Well, thank you. Well, that actually stole. I was going to try to surprise you with the question of, is there anything that you haven't told an interviewer before? Give us. You just gave us something, so I don't know if I deserve anything else. But anything else that you haven't been asked before?
Anything I haven't been asked before. I mean, like you're really covering the gambit today. You knew my first guitar. You know about my little slide guitar trick that I pull off. I mean, I feel like we're about to do like a gear rundown on here almost. No, man, I don't know. You've kind of already gotten in there.
All right. Well, I see. I think I see a piano. If I'm right.
Purely cosmetic. I wish I knew how to do anything with this. This was a nice addition
Aha.
for our house when my,
Thank you.
my wife had kind of asked like it'd be really nice if we had a piano, and I had a friend that was running a moving service and for pianos, and he was like, "Hey, I found one for free. You want this?" So I was like, "Yes." So
Well,
I
you'll get around to it.
I will. I do like to host a party every now and then, have a friend come and play it. It does get used.
Haven't you also a little bit done even a wind instrument? Am I
Yeah, yeah,
right?
I have. Yeah, right before I started playing guitar, I did play some trumpet, and that is funny. Like when guitar kind of started happening for me at age 12 or 13, I've been playing trumpet for a couple of years, and I did take some piano lessons back then, but that's all like right out the window. And that when guitar started happening, it was like, oh, well, this is like my new hobby instrument. Trumpet is my main focus, and this is where I want to devote most of my time. And I was loving doing that. I played in like extracurricular youth symphonies and stuff in middle school, and it was a great developmental, music experience at that time. And then, man, we moved towns, and I don't know, guitar just kind of took over, you know, for the better.
Now, lastly, you do some vocals too, and so I'll ask you, uh, you sit in the shower or where? What would we catch you singing when you do?
Oh man, there again, set list changes every night. There's a handful of tunes that I get lucky enough to sing, and I look forward to that every night because here again, we just keep bringing this up, but it was just like such a great opportunity for me to grow in this gig. I had sung leads so little before I came to this band. And, when I joined, it was very apparent that it was like, hey, man, cool, you play guitar. That's great. Congrats. We're not really interested in the one thing you can do great. We're interested in the five or six things you can do great. So I had to like develop my bag of tricks quickly. And involved in that was like, hey, here's a couple of songs, learn them quick. And man, I'm so grateful for those guys just pushing me and making me a better musician and everything along the way.
Well, Mike, thanks for bringing your spirit to us at the Mahaiwe, April 25, and keep going, and we appreciate you joining us today.
Absolutely, Dalton. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's good to talk to you, man.
And viewers, if you're already a subscriber to the Berkshire Eagle, thank you. If you're not yet, please consider becoming one. It's how we keep the flame of local journalism and conversations like this alive. I'm Dalton DeLand. I'll see you next time on Eagle Reels and the pages of the Berkshire Eagle.